Could Acid Ace beat Akuma? We rarely see Mega Man characters fighting anything besides other navis. So exactly how much danger are you in if Queen Ophiucha is rampaging down your street? Could you fight off Zack? I'm going to break down where the games indicate all of the Mega Man cast rank in power. Regarding the ranking ratings, I'm not ranking individual attacks, and Mega Man is a combo-heavy series. I'm ranking how much destruction would a character likely cause before we could stop them, assuming we had 8 hours notice they were going to spawn and attack somewhere on Earth. For Star Force, defense seems a lot more uniform unless we get into HP pools, but that varies wildly between games, so I'm going to mostly look into their hacking abilities. As you might expect by this point, Shooting Star Mega Man is a kind of middle ground for EM wave beings, which, strap in, we're spending some time here. EM beings are nearly pure energy beings, seen sometimes exceeding light speed. Don't misinterpret, the speed of light can be exceeded by using physics hacks, so they are not faster than light. However, while inconsistent, they are depicted as near light speed, with time passing very slowly while wave changed. And yes, by using pulse holes they can travel distances light years away, like deep space in seconds or minutes. I suspect that pulse holes have space warping properties that effectively suck them to their destination. A bit like a rubber band or a vacuum. But yes, right there, this Mega Man can move at near light speed, especially over short distances, much like many navis. The only time this seems to change is when there is a lot of EM interference, creating what Omega-xis calls the visible zone phenomena. This phenomena slows EM beings down and makes them visible and somewhat tangible. Otherwise, they effectively cannot interact with the physical world. This also seems to be analog. For example, EM beings appear somewhat slower on the technologically advanced Earth of Star Force than in space. For this reason, I'm making a whole new tier for how broken these characters are. SF tier, and Duo-exe is getting bumped up. While in this visible zone, they can do much more than you can to them. EM beings have shown feats such as super strength, unearthly durability, and are still extremely fast while in the visible zone. They can even lock on and teleport. I see humans having no chance against any EM waveform, and I'd give Mega Man's offense at least galaxy level. I don't think he poses near as much threat as Duo though, but at his weakest, it's not even close for the human species. EM aliens, which include AMians, FMians, UMAs, and synthetic copies called wizards, are entirely energy-based lifeforms, often tied to various celestial objects. With a few exceptions, they are comparatively weak and much weaker than any known wave change they have performed. They become much more powerful by joining with a human and usually display weaker abilities of their joint form. A notable exception being Omega-xis, who is capable of fighting with his claws, something Mega Man can't do. Keep in mind, in order for them to interact with the physical world, they must be in the visible zone, same as any other EM being. The last, most useful to place them, and unfortunately most widely variable ability, is they can enter and possess smart devices, ranging from cars to security systems. That being said, their wave-changed forms are more capable in this sense too. So basically, this is a lot of lore to say we are putting them at the bottom of SF. They are some of the least threatening EM beings, but they are still beyond our comprehension. Hertzes are naturally occurring EM lifeforms named after Heinrich Hertz, who perform tasks pertaining to waves. So like Mega Man or the aliens, they could only ever Hertz you, or be Hertz, if they are in the... Good job, I think everybody understands the visible zone goes for pretty much everybody in this video. While they may be just as defensive, I can imagine Hertz hurting you, they are to Mr. Prog's what this jar of peanuts contains peanuts warnings are to reasonable safety warnings. These guys don't even have sharp edges, and they cry over everything. So split the difference, I'm putting them below carbons. Similarly, EM viruses are entirely energy-based entities who can attack smart devices. Like the Battle Network viruses, I'm grouping them together now, and they are going below the aliens. A few viruses might be kind of on level with them, but they generally have little trouble with EM viruses. Certain EM viruses can force wave change with a human, effectively hijacking their body and creating a jammer. While still exceeding most EM aliens' power, jammers don't quite match most wave changes with an alien, being limited to basic attacks like punches, kicks, vulcans, and bombs. Megaman's hungry friend, Taurus Fire, is stubborn and wild. Not stopping his attack for anything, including pain, he constantly teleports around, rushing in to punch, tackle, or snort fire. He can even remotely cause pillars of fire to erupt under opponents' feet. I'm giving him the edge on base Megaman. Megaman's partner, Harp Note, is a master of sound. Her hearing covers a much wider range, and she is able to recalibrate other EM beings to open shortcuts for them. When it comes to combat, she can create amps and blast opponents with notes. She can even move in close, and her serenades will leave their head spinning. Finally, her signature move is trapping an opponent in guitar strings and playing a quick riff while they are bound. I'm torn where to place her, because her sound abilities could allow her to affect the physical world with a lower visible zone threshold. But her abilities don't quite match Taurus. Nah, she's got to go above Taurus. She'd be like a ghost to you, and she'd be absolutely dominating you. Not like that. Stop. Queen Ophiucha is Megaman's love interest taken over by an alien snake. She can shoot eye lasers to paralyze her prey, or send little snake buddies to hunt them. Finally, she can slither at enemies, leaving a snail trail of poison. I'm giving her a slight edge on Taurus Fire. Rogue fights with a combination of melee and sword attacks. These include things such as projectile fists, waves of darkness, doing a helm splitter that explodes in dark power, and having his sword turn into a scythe and fight for him. His main strength is his Mu barrier, that can nullify any attack and regenerates when he attacks. When you get through this, he won't flinch to any hits, and through the dark power of being a loner, can skate over any rough terrain. He's a supreme edgelord that can actually kind of back it up. For this reason, he surpasses Harp Note. The paranoic Cygnus Wing has big wings to fly with, but he can also flap some razor-sharp feathers at everyone who is surely out to betray him. He also likes to pretend he's a ballerina and pirouette around the battlefield. Then, he has the only ones he can trust, his children, who he calls quacky lackeys, and who can call to have his back when all of his friends lie to him. I'm dropping him between Taurus and Megaman because of his irrational paranoia. He's a very careful and very hesitant fighter, which handicaps him. Libra Scales, a rogue teacher, believes everything should be fair and balanced. He slowly teeters about, holding a flame and a splashing scale. Every time a scale bumps the floor, it releases an elemental ghost to rush forward at enemies. He can also channel a Zangief and use his scales for a lariat, or summon giant paperweights in the air to come crashing down. Guys, he's going bad jammers. He'd be terrifying, but not that terrifying with his slow wobbling. When the alien Gemini partners with a split-personality femboy, he becomes the twin-bodied Gemini Spark. Because of this, Gemini Spark is able to tag team with himself. One of the bodies typically rushes in with an Elexor, paralyzing their target, and the other follows up by launching an explosive fist. They can also team up to blast a stream of electricity ahead. Being 2-on-1, that's a big advantage right there. Granted, fighting just one would be preferable to any other wave-changed form, so let's put them ahead of Queen Ophiucha. Cancer Bubble is kind of just a better Megaman.exe, but don't forget, if you ever ended up in a situation where you could fight him, congrats, I think he just became beyond Solar System. Anyway, he likes to float around blowing bubbles, sometimes filled with crabby lackeys. The bubbles can easily suck an enemy up, leaving them a sitting duck. He also sometimes creates a tidal wave that also encases anything it splashes in a bubble. If you did end up getting bubbled, he won't hesitate to throw his boomeranging claws at you. I think I'd put him between Ophiucha and Taurus. So who would you prefer to fight? A Bullman, a Snake Woman, a Crabby Kid, or Wolf Woods? Basically an EM werewolf. None of them. You want to fight the goose geezer that's cuckoo. Yeah, let's just say he's going above Gemini. So he can sick his pack mates on enemies or rush in to claw them up. He can even claw you from a distance, sending cutting shockwaves. Oh, and he can greatly accelerate the moon cycles, and when the moon is full, he makes Omega-xis proud and goes buck wild, moving and attacking even faster. Crown Thunder proves EM aliens can even revive the dead long enough to fight. He fights by sending his ghostly troops out to attack with bows, drills, or mallets, occasionally doing a little jig to build up static to rain down. I think I have to put him a hair under Ophiucha. Dragon Sky is one of the big exceptions to the EM aliens. He likes to laze about, blowing whirlwinds or snorting cherry blossoms to conserve energy, to use in bursts. When he has the energy, he is able to teleport larger distances than most EM beings, and fly around the battlefield. He is also highly resistant to illnesses, and poisons and feels no pain. Could he outclass Duo? No, I don't think so, but I'm pretty sure he takes second from Rogue. Pegasus Magic is another exception, also with trained reflexes and a strong immunity. Unlike his associate, he is always running around the battlefield, flinging ice darts or swords 3 at a time, and trying to trample his enemies. He can even create a massive cold front to frost over everything in his way. Of course, he can also create a glacier from his magic seal. This guy is running circles around Dragon, and if Duo lost his meteor, might even take top spot. The final member of the trio, Leo Kingdom, is even more aggressive, weaving through the battlefield and pouncing between spitting fireballs everywhere. You even have to watch out for his flaming whip of a tail. For me, this earns him a spot above his brother, Pegasus. This trio is also able to join into Geo and Omega-xis' wave change. Green Dragon makes Megaman invulnerable to poison and allows him to spray razor-sharp leaves forward, and even surround himself in a whirlwind when he gets into the rhythm of battle. Height of Cygnus. Ice Pegasus allows Megaman to fling Iceman's Ice Slasher to flash freeze enemies, or magically create a glacier, ahead of Green Dragon. Fire Leo gains a flamethrower or a flame laser like the original Cap super move, above Taurus. Andromeda, the Planet Eater, is a weapon originating from the Andromeda Galaxy. As such, it is at least multiplanetary. While we never saw how exactly it destroys planets, we do see it summoning an endless stream of missiles, raining down shooting stars, firing lasers, and distorting space with the impact of its fists and teeth. We do know it has successfully destroyed one planet, Planet AM. So like Duo.exe, we are at casual planet destruction, and I'm giving the edge to Andromeda. Duo is just piloting a big meteor to crash into planets he doesn't like. Andromeda can actually attack planets. The space distortion might put him near universal though, so yeah, anyone scoffing at my assessment of galaxy level minimum for Shooting Star Megaman, he squeezed out a tight win against this casual destroyer of worlds. Dark Phantom is a mix of a loser and a pimp. So unsurprisingly, his favorite attack is running up and caning his enemies. He can also pirouette so fast his cape can nick anyone nearby, or claw by launching his stretchy third hand from his belly. He can also materialize his third hand from underground and not bother with throwing it. Besides that, occasionally he becomes a phantom and can't get hurt. It's RNG based. This is the biggest loser in Star Force and maybe the easiest boss in the whole Mega Man series. He makes a glorified Goose Man look like a T-Rex. He's also probably Solar System, and that makes me mad. Heck, I'm putting him below Libra, but they are vying. Yeti Blizzard's MO is jumping around, splashing chunks of snow at enemies or landing on their heads. He can also create quakes so intense he causes an avalanche of snow to roll downhill. The avalanche move is a little tempting, but the highest I can go is above Cygnus. Plesio Surf can breathe electricity and swim through the ground with a bit more maneuverability than Diveman.exe. Aside from that, he can dive underground and try to snack on an enemy or create a tidal wave, washing any debris on top of you, which he can periodically raise to the surface during battle. I'm thinking behind Taurus. As you should expect of a bird or jet like EM being, Terra Condor can fly and is equipped with laser cannons, though he primarily draws missiles from the ground and can even unload a full armory. That might sound good, but he's cocky and leaves himself open a lot. For that reason, I'm putting him ahead of Crown Thunder. Hollow is kind of just an electrical magic man. Electricity occasionally surges, rendering him invincible. Instead of standing still and throwing slow fire, he will blast a beam of energy or call down lightning that races targets back and forth. He can even summon viruses long enough to attack. Here's the snag though. He isn't like the other characters. He's a matter wave, which is an EM being designed to always be fully in the visible zone. Yes, his attacks will always hit as hard as they can, but he will always be completely vulnerable. For me, this drags him down closer to navis and copybots, so I have to put him above Chaos Lord. He could still probably decimate most of our Earth before we could do anything, but we'd have a slim chance. Kung Fu Kid is a goat, skilled in martial arts and can even create shadows to help him. You'd want to be sure he doesn't eat any grass either, or he will stop at nothing to beat you. Behind Plesio Surf. General Auriga has the same bad strategy as Chargeman. He unflinchingly rolls on in his chariot, sometimes whipping out a steamroller, and always comes with a few soldiers escorting him. This can be a lot of pressure, but is predictable, so I'm putting him ahead of Kung Fu Kid. Winner of the Most Insensitive Name Award, Apollo Flame destroyed the Earth in a hypothetical future, and then had a plan to cross over into the real timeline to destroy Earth there too. Yes, we know they can do this if they start to enter the visible zone. The thing though, is this guy is terrifying. Maybe the hardest Mega Man boss. He has a constantly regenerating fire barrier that eats any non-water damage, and his mere presence causes fire to arc across the ground. He can slide multiple fire devils at enemies at a time, rain down a dense meteor shower, or create and throw a massive ball of fire. That's probably why nobody says anything to him about his name. So I'm actually thinking he should go above Duo and Andromeda. I don't think him getting sent to destroy Earth by his mom is a feat. I think that is as normal to him as it is for you to kick an anthill in the middle of the sidewalk as you walk past. His only weakness is being this insanely broken seems to knock him out and leave him with an exertion hangover for a couple days. So after he destroys your planet, it's gonna be a few days before he destroys it in another timeline. Murians are automatons from the lost continent Mu, resembling EM aliens, though they can wave change with aliens. They carry swords and shields, able to use both as you'd expect, and can also release an elemental beam. They go down pretty easily and can be deactivated simply by booping a rune on their chests. So I'm putting them behind the EM aliens. Les Mu. Non, 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 non. Oui, oui, baguette. May there always be snails on your bread. Les Mu is the counterpart of Ramu, and likewise crashed on Earth, leading to the rise of the Mu Empire. While just a physical hunk of matter, it can generate EMs into things like drills, machine guns, and swords, or fire a massive EM laser. But that kind of doesn't matter because it can create Myrians and UMAs, its type of EM alien, allowing it to generate an unlimited number of wave-changed minions. It's unclear if it has any way to propel itself through space, but it's at least planetary with possibly universal potential. Because I have doubts it can move very much, I'm putting it behind Andromeda, who is very mobile. Wood Ninja is the form Mega Man can take after Omega-xis eats an artifact recovered from the ruins of the ancient ninja civilization. This grants Mega Man Sharp Shuriken, the ability to substitute and counterattack, and when the EM waves are pumping he can create copies and barrage enemies in Shuriken. I'm thinking this could go above Crown Thunder. It's a modest upgrade. Fire Saurian turns Mega Man into a dinosaur, if Omega-xis instead eats a dinosaur skull. As you might expect, dinosaurs don't let pain stop them and can blast lava that splatters on impact like a shotgun. It is also able to charge attacks, especially ones involving fire, and can fire a fiery beam when fired up. I think I have to put this behind its rival, Ninja. Charging is good, but can be a weakness. Yes, in Mega Man canon, ninjas and dinosaurs lived in peace until the Thunder Zerkers went buck wild on everyone else. They were able to string together all of their basic attacks, leaving opponents stun-locked without escape. Their sparking swords could also release a paralyzing bolt, and when they were really feeling it, they could blow up their sword and fight 1 on 10 or more. I have a feeling this will be controversial, but I do think this edges out Ninja. I guess the silver lining is the civilization occasionally intermarried, and Mega Man 2 could double up. But I'm not getting into every combination, it's pretty much whatever two added together. No, we are covering the form achieved when Mega Man creates a peace between the three people. Tribe King. Tribe King can do everything the other three can, plus release flaming, sparking, and naturing beams from his sword. All other attacks are also twice as powerful. When fighting hard, it can even unleash a rainbow beam containing every element. I'm putting this behind Rogue. Star Force 3 allows Mega Man to resonate with enemies he has faced as forms called noise changes. All noise changes require Megaman to be a noisy fighter, which isn't too hard, so I'm assuming Megaman has the minimum 50% noise level necessary. However, if he so much as touches anything he is weak to, he loses all his noise. Libra Noise allows him to heal with any cards he uses and specializes in water and fire attacks. In addition, it modifies his charge shot to deal spread damage, and increases his resilience significantly. Below Harp Note. A crabby Megaman can sync with Cancer to become Cancer Noise. This noise is focused primarily on trapping opponents in bubbles, with a bubbling charge shot that explodes in a cross shape, and the ability to make any water cards extra bubbly. Ahead of Gemini. Gemini Noise allows Megaman to link two cards to always appear together, paralyze with any sword, and fire a paralyzing fist. Behind Tribe King. No, I'm not joking, this is kinda cracked. Ophiucha Noise is immune to poisons, but can lace its attacks with a poison to trap opponents in a delusion. Its charge shot also bursts and plants grass, below Libra Noise. Wolf Noise can refresh its cards at double speed, swords deal much more damage. It can also claw into the air, releasing a projectile slash. This is a setup that allows him to effectively stun lock enemies without paralysis, so it edges out Gemini Noise. Cygnus Noise can float above bad terrain, as you might expect. Its charge shot releases a flurry of feathers, and its non-elemental attacks becoming stronger. Above Libra Noise. Taurus Noise is an expert with fire and won't flinch no matter what. Otherwise, like the dinosaur, its fire shot penetrates and sprays. Below Ophiucha Noise. Crown Noise's charge shot can paralyze. Its card attacks steal enemies' sight, and it is able to easily call on friends. There's not really a vision here, but it works well enough to surpass Libra Noise. Spade Magnus is not wave changed. He is corrupted with noise while working on a rocket launch. Because of that, he can transform himself into a rocket, and even go underground and pop up beneath his opponent's feet. He can also summon small missiles to provide cover or create a gravity field to lock enemies' feet to the ground before dicing them with his swords. It's unclear if lizards are fully in the visible zone or can force themselves into it partially. If we're going with the latter, which is stronger, I think I'd put him above Ophiucha. Diamond Ice is another noise wizard who creates and uses several blocks of ice as a barrier. She can also flick them a target's way, or blow in an Arctic blast to freeze enemies solid, so she can shatter them with a giant hammer. I'm putting her ahead of Harp Note. Another corrupted wizard, Club Strong, is kind of just a Stoneman.exe that doesn't need to be put down. The moss covering his body spreads, coating wherever he jumps with grassy moss, and sends a tree ahead. Yes, he can also mash opponents with the big club or use it to create tornadoes that fly toward his foes. Finally, he can shake down coconuts that will sap opponents of their health and heal him. His movement is a little predictable, but I see him edging out Spade Magnus. Jack Corvus, as a crow, is able to fly and ignore gravitational fields while generating dark claws to push opponents away. Normal crow stuff. He can also fly up and rain down a barrage from above. His razor-sharp wings can also be used as scythes. While great, I think he only surpasses Club Strong. Corvus Noise is immune to gravity, can fly and fire a flamethrower that creates a gravity field to pin opponents. It also boosts other fire-based attacks. I'm putting it above Libra Noise. Queen Virgo can make it rain or unleash a slithering water dragon. She can also raise water to use as a shield and send it back as a wave if attacked. Finally, she can rush into opponents' faces and rotate the pure light of her virginity around her, which actually hurts a lot. Behind Diamond Ice. Virgo Noise can release a freezing cold wave of water that freezes the ground beneath anything it hits. At the same time, Virgo Noise is unfreezable and can pop any bubble he finds himself in. Above Ophiucha Noise. Acid Ace is a purely synthetic wave change that can boost its power by giving in to the noise and turning black. He is particularly fast and nimble, but otherwise has few standout abilities such as using his jets to tackle opponents or firing a noise laser from his belly. So, Black Ace is falling just after Yeti Blizzard. I'm sure he would have ironed things out and raised his position in Star Force 4. Dread Joker, not the one everyone knows, is similar to his brother Acid Ace. Instead of being as nimble, he's bulky and doesn't react to pain. Though he lacks as many abilities as others, he can manipulate noise to create protective monoliths, including in the air where they could crush opponents. Beyond that, he can blast a big noise laser, or teleport into an opponent's face to punch the snot out of them. I'm putting him ahead of Queen Virgo. Moon Destroyer is Apollo Flame's self-proclaimed rival, and I think we need to emphasize the self-proclaimed part. His battle style is making really exaggerated hops, then upon landing either twirling to the side, throwing moon-shaped blades, fastballing a meteor at an enemy, generating a bunch of moon-shaped shuriken and throwing them at targets, or teleporting nearby to Tatsumaki Senpu Kyaku, them in the face and finish with an unblockable spike kick. He's no Dark Phantom, but unless he's majorly concealing his power level, the highest I'm comfortable putting him is behind Jack Corvus. Sirius is a serious threat. He controls a black hole and travels the cosmos, sucking things in that he finds novel to preserve them forever. You know, since time is hypothesized to slow infinitely the closer you get to a black hole, to the point it is impossible to actually get sucked into one, but time also never stops. So right there, he seems to be immune to black holes. In battle without his black hole, he flies, zipping around, safe and unflinching in his sturdy armor. Beyond that, he has rapidly regenerating barrier walls he can erect to prevent opponents or foes from getting close. He leaves his remote control wings to do the fighting. They are able to release EM blasts, zip around stabbing opponents, or firing lasers, and all four can come together to unleash a devastating miniature black hole jet that obliterates the battlefield and anything on it. Without his black hole, I'd put him behind Apollo Flame. As powerful as he is, his attacks are a little slow, and he never takes combat seriously. With his black hole, he's beyond Apollo Flame, and I'm ranking him with it, because I felt Duo-EXE's meteor was central to his powers. Same story for the black hole. The draconic Crimson Dragon is the mind of Meteor G, a ball of noise, chaotic energy that can disrupt and damage electronic devices and beings. As the mind of the whole meteor, Crimson Dragon can manipulate noise into crystals, missiles, extra hands, you name it. It can also reformat EM things to their most basic form. Its most powerful attack is breathing intense crimson, crystalline noise ahead of it. Yeah, this is going behind Andromeda. While I don't see a win condition for humanity, Meteor G can only really return us to the Stone Age and make us confused and dopey. Unless, like, its core can wander the surface of the Earth and is in the visible zone. If Megaman is subjected to enough noise, he can stabilize it into either a form called Black Ace or Red Joker. Both forms double the potency of any cards used and maximize Megaman's Buster into a powerful machine gun. Furthermore, they replace his folder with an optimized folder packed with powerful and illegal cards. Red Joker also protects Megaman from any interference or poison, while numbing him to pain. When he gets into the rhythm of battle, he can raise the area around him with a crimson noise laser. Black Ace instead can fly and teleport in front of enemies to attack them. Its ultimate move involves trapping enemies within a pseudo-black hole, so it can cleave them with a sword and leave them heavy with increased gravity. I'm putting both behind Apollo Flame, with Joker having the edge. Lastly, we have Rogue Noise. If Megaman pushes all his friends away and becomes an edgelord, he can synchronize his frequency with Rogue, gaining the regenerating Moo barrier. It boosts sword cards with paralysis and disrupts lock-on systems. I'm thinking behind base Shooting Star Megaman, behind even Jammers because Link Power is so much better than any of that. This is an active downgrade. It turns you into as much of a weenie as edgy losers usually are. Wait, there's one more? Oh yes, the strangest character, Kelvin Stellar, was changed to an EM being, and this somehow made him insanely strong. He can fly through space at near light speeds like the other characters, but found Meteor G and fought Crimson Dragon to a stalemate for years. Somehow. I have no feats to show you, but the devs established this as a feat, so I have to put this behind Crimson Dragon. Safe to say, if this guy wave changed with Apollo or Sirius, he'd be multiversal. With that, we've come to an end to scaling the Mega Man series. I thought the absurdity of attempting this would be funny, but even I didn't expect there would be this much to go over. That being said, there will be more videos over Mega Man, RPGs, and other core gaming series, and if there's enough demand, I'll even come back to rank the viruses and robot masters individually, etc. Oh, also, I'm releasing this tier list in the description if you want to make your own ranking. Be sure to tag me in your videos.